welcome back to the Keep On Growing channel. My name is Deyanira Cavazos and I am an LPC Associate here in the state of Texas. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my tips on how to find a supervisor that is going to be the right fit for you. Because finding a supervisor can definitely feel a little bit stressful, but my hope in sharing these tips is that it'll help ease a little bit of the anxiety that comes along with it. So let's go ahead and get into where to find a supervisor, where to start looking. And so one of the first ways is to go ahead and ask around. Ask your professors, ask fellow students, people that you're going to get to know when you're interning, so other LPC associates that you come in contact with. And I wanted to share this one first because you're going to get more details from people that you know. So you're going to get to hear, how that supervisor worked with them, things that they didn't like, or also things that they loved about their supervisor. So another way that you can go ahead and look for a supervisor is to go on the BHEC website, and I'm going to go ahead and leave a link down below in my description box so you can go ahead and check out the online list that they have provided. So they have a full list of LPC supervisors in the state of Texas that you can look through, which is very convenient, so you can definitely look them up. Maybe some of them have a website or some of them are on social media, so you can go ahead and get their information and then reach out to them through email or their preferred way. That way you can book an interview with them to see if they're going to be the right fit for you. Now, the last option that I have for you when it comes to finding a supervisor is to look online and through social media and see if there's anyone that you connect with, that you resonate with. And I love this because usually you're able to see maybe their posts or their videos and just things that matter to them and that they value. So yes, those are the 3 ways to go about doing it. And for me, I went with the first option. I ended up finding my supervisor simply because she was a professor of mine. So I knew her style, and I reached out to her to see if she could be my supervisor. It has been so great. I love my supervisor so much. I definitely could not be doing what I'm doing and owning my own private practice without her support. Huge support system for me. Now comes the next portion. You've selected some supervisors that you want to go ahead and work with, but you're not exactly sure maybe what questions to ask. So I'm going to go ahead and leave a little checklist of possible questions here that you can go ahead and ask. So feel free to screenshot it if you want. And it is super important to remember that you are going to be interviewing these supervisors because you're going to be hiring them in a way. So don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you're in an interview with the supervisor and you already feel like you're not comfortable asking them questions because you're not feeling good, then that's definitely already a red flag. If you don't feel comfortable asking questions, because then that's definitely going to show up when you're doing consultations. You want to find someone that you feel comfortable with. And so, personal example, there was another supervisor that I was thinking of possibly working with, but I realized that I was just not going to be comfortable with them. And so that was the number one thing for me. I wanted to find someone that I felt comfortable with, that I felt supported by when it came to my goals. So I would suggest the same thing for you. These are my career goals, what I want to do as an LPC associate. Can you support me in this? And so the number one thing for me was private practice. And so my supervisor was the one informing me about all the changes that were coming through the Texas State Board because she already knew that I wanted to work private practice. And so it's super important to be straightforward about your goals and your intentions and the things that you want out of your career. And so the other reason why I say that you want to find someone that you feel comfortable with is because you're going to be meeting with this supervisor 4 hours a month. So for me, that looks like 1 hour a week. So I meet with my supervisor once a week. And so imagine this for over 18 months. So for over a year, you're going to be meeting with the supervisor. You definitely want to make sure that it's a good fit. And being an LPC associate myself, I know that sometimes we may feel a little bit scared or overwhelmed and may want to just pick the first supervisor we see simply because we know them, even if we're not fully comfortable with them. And so my advice to you would be to, hold off a little bit and shop around, get to know other people, ask around. It's so important. And so another quick little tip and thing to keep in mind is cost and rates. So that's something that you definitely, of course, want to ask during the interview, but rates are going to differ differ depending on what your supervisor offers or potential supervisor offers. And so some supervisors may offer group supervision or dyad supervision. So dyad is when you meet with 2 people and group is where you meet with 3 or more people. So that's something to keep in mind because that would keep your cost a little bit lower. And so personally for me with my supervisor, I meet one-on-one with them, so I don't do group or dyad. And I personally really enjoy that because I get to ask my supervisor all the questions that I want during that hour. And it was so nice to have that time this first year that I was with my supervisor just one-on-one. So that's something to keep in mind for you, because at least some feedback that I've heard from other LPC associates, when it's a larger group, it can be very hard to ask the questions that you want to ask. And so you really might not get to, because even though an hour sounds like a lot, when it's a large group, it will go by so fast. So personally, if you were to ask me, I think that in grad school we can afford to just do things to finish, and to graduate. But post-grad, when we're out in the field and we're working, it's so important to have people around us that support us and then we can go to and ask questions to, because depending on your work setting, you never know what you may encounter. So it's always good to have someone that you can text, call, email when it comes to your supervisor, knowing that they're there to support you. So that is it for this video, everyone. I hope you found it helpful. I wanted to make it because it was a request by one of you, and I know that there's probably other LPC associates or counselors in training who probably have a similar question, because I know I did when I was in grad school. So yes, I hope it was very helpful. If you're new to the Keep On Growing channel, definitely think about hitting that subscribe button and joining the community we have on here. And also feel free to comment any questions you might have or any video recommendations. I love getting video recommendations because it helps me know what kind of content you all want to see, so I know what kind of videos to make for you all. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Take care, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.